year is 2004, and you just got home from a long day in elementary school. You're just absolutely exhausted from running around the playground at recess and drinking all of that chocolate milk in the school cafeteria. You need some fun and to let your mind drift away to a magical, colorful, and fashionable little world. You drop your backpack to the ground and dash on over to the big family computer, located in the family computer room, of course. What awaits you is a sassy little pixie named Pippa, who greets you and invites you into her fantastical world of 2000s girly games. You think you're gonna like it here. EverythingGirl.com was a website made in 2004 that was made to be a hub for Mattel's Flash games. What are Flash games, you may ask? Flash games are browser video games that you could play online through various websites. Many of these games were made using Adobe Flash at the time. They were free to play and easily accessible as long as you had any sort of computer around you. You may recognize some of the Flash games that you played growing up, such as the games on DisneyChannel.com, Nick Jr., or Cool Math games, and many of these games were used as advertisements for kids with a ton of product placement. I'm looking at you, Millsberry.com. How I loved you and your cereal-themed Flash games. We didn't care about any of that though. We just loved how bright and colorful and overall addicting these games were. And girly games were especially on the rise. Everything Girl was that girl. And we're going to discuss all of the wonderful games that this amazing website had to offer. And possibly any lore that may be involved with this one. Because who is Pippa and what is her backstory? I can't wait to find out. Make sure to grab your Capri Sun and your princess fruit snack, especially the blue one, and let's take a trip back to 2004 where it all began. So if we want to go all the way back to how this amazing website came to be, we have to discuss our bestie, Barbie, first. The original Barbie website started in 1996 and started off as your basic website just showcasing Barbie and her collection. But as time went on, games were added to the website where you could dress Barbie up in fashionable outfits. You could babysit her little sister Chrissy, or you could take care of virtual pets. The Barbie website was so fun and addicting and definitely had the 2000s girlies in a chokehold. Mattel was the company that owned Barbie, but this wasn't the only brand that Mattel owned, and they really wanted to reach that Barbie audience. Kelly, who was Barbie's younger sister in the early 2000s, also had her own brand going at the time called Kelly Club, which became a small portion of the Barbie website in 2001. At the same time, Mattel was also running other websites for their other brands, such as Polly Pocket, My Scene, and Diva Starz. But at a certain point around 2004, if you Googled one of the websites, it redirected you to everythinggirl.com. I remember being confused at first and thinking maybe I was heading towards the wrong website. But once I got there and I was introduced to this iconic digital fairy and spotted some familiar faces around her, I knew I was right at home. Some of the main games that everythinggirl.com had to offer were Barbie, Polly Pocket, Diva Starz, My Scene, What's Her Face, and Pixel Chix. The Kelly Club games were also there for a short time, but they ended up disappearing at one point. The more brands that Mattel introduced, the more games were added, and the more the other ones just kind of faded away. So let's dive into more of the iconic games from each brand before we learn a little bit more about Pippa and what ended up happening to her website.
All about the games, girl.
Obviously have to begin with Barbie because there wouldn't be everythinggirl.com without her. By the time we had moved over to the Everything Girl website, Barbie's portion of the site started getting a bit of an update. From around 2001 to 2003, Barbie.com had a main color scheme of purple, and photos of actual Barbie dolls were used as mascots on the website. Barbie would sit in her room surrounded by clickable icons that took you to different areas of her website, and when there was an update, she would be seen wearing different outfits. A lot of the games weren't featuring Barbie is very cartoony and mainly kept her true to her doll form. She also had a little menu panel to the left that was themed like her house and could take you to various games and activities. But once you entered the everythinggirl.com Barbie, the main color was orange and almost matching the same vibe of everythinggirl.com. Barbie herself got a little bit of a change with a more cartoonish look. They still used a lot of the same games from the original website with a few additions. It wasn't until 2005 that the Barbie website got the update that most of us remember and love. The website was decked out in pink and almost had a more grown feel feel to it. It didn't seem as childish and young as the original website did. It had almost a teen vibe, kind of similar to what Mattel was going for with My Scene. Barbie again got a new upgrade, and I think this is one of her best looks. They brought back the house panel idea on the left, with each room featuring different activities on the website. There was her bedroom, which featured her diary, her backpack, and her stereo. Then there was her closet section, which featured more of her fashion games. There was her garden, which was probably most definitely my favorite spot because it featured the fairy tale side of Barbie with a lot of her princess games. There was her TV studio, which I'm pretty sure just featured clips of Barbie movies and commercials, pretty much just advertisement central. And then there was one of the best rooms, the game room. Here you could play some of the most memorable and fun Barbie games on the website. So let's talk about some of the best Barbie games. One of the best games by far is the Chrissy game. I feel like it also may be one of the most memorable. So I'm editing this video right now, so pardon this, but I was working on the baby Chrissy video and I just need to show you this horrifying jump scare that came up on my computer. What is that? What is that? The concept is that you are babysitting Barbie's little sister, Chrissy, and you'll get 3 randomized games that involve you playing with Chrissy or taking care of her in some way. These games include grocery shopping, playing at the park, on the beach, dressing her up, giving her a bath, and feeding her. I also had a weird discovery whenever I was replaying this game. You could also change her diaper, walk with her in her stroller, and play with her in the nursery. Listen, I have a pretty good long-term memory, and I genuinely do not remember those mini games at all. Does anyone know if those games were lost mini games that may have been added later? The text on the game changed too, which I also thought was odd. Let me know if I'm crazy or not. Another favorite has to be the princess dress-up game. There were actually 2 versions of this game on the older Barbie website, but they decided to update the game to reflect the Barbie Mini Kingdom dolls that were released in 2005. You could choose between Clara, Rapunzel, Erica, Annalise, and Odette, and it would take you to a colorful and magical screen with options to change the color of her dress, hairstyle, shoes, crown, and add cute little stickers and gems. I would spend hours dressing up each one because I loved the differences between all of the scenery and decor. I loved that Rapunzel had her little dragon with her that puffed out smoke, and that I could change Odette's dress by clicking on different colors of the rainbow, or change Clara's by clicking on this little candy cane. It was such a sweet and special game. Another super fun one was Zoom and Groom. You just know if a game featured taking care of virtual pets, you were locked in the rest of the day. You start the game by choosing between horses, cats, or dogs to dress up. You didn't really do too much other than click on the brush or makeup items and watch the game pretty much do it for you. And that little hamster that would always photobomb you. I was so offended. I was like, why are you in my beautiful shot? The atmosphere of these games is just so relaxing with all of the little noises. It just really feels like a summer day in 2004, spent indoors, on the computer instead of running around outside and getting fresh air and exercise like I should have been. It's all about balance, okay? Let's give Barbie some honorable mentions before we move on to the next brand. The Barbie Cake Maker game is old but gold. If you were a kid in the 2000s with a Barbie cake, I was truly jealous of you. But you got to write a little message too and email it to your friend, which is actually so cute. I wish people still did stuff like that. Also, a quick side note about many of these games. These computer games almost always had a printable option, and some of these games even made printing a part of the game, which I was just offended by because we never had ink in our printer. I don't think we ever touched it one time. Another honorable mention has to be the pet dance game. You would select a pet, a background, and music. That was it. That was the game. And it was iconic. The Makeover Magic game was actually so cute and fun too. I was going to say that this one doesn't hit like the My Scene one does, but I'll be honest, I actually enjoyed this one.
Tomorrow's the first day of school, and I've got nothing to wear. This is a true fashion emergency. What do we do? There's only one thing we can do. The mall!
Alright, move over, Barbie. Time for the real stars of the internet. My girls, the Diva Stars. I talk about Diva Stars a little bit more in depth in my last video, so I'll leave a link to that in the description too. But for those who don't know these large-headed fashionistas, Diva Stars were released in the year 2000 by Mattel in a response to the virtual pet craze like Furby or Tamagotchi. They were meant to feel technologically advanced, with their main concept being that they talked and interacted with you and each other. They were also fashion dolls, so their clothes and style were also a core part of what made them so unique. Both of these ideas made for great girly fashion games. Originally, they started off having their very own website. You could click on each girl, get to know their personalities, see their rooms, and play their mini games. This was at the time where their original four included Alexa, Nikki, Tia, and Summer. Eventually, the dolls moved away from their more Furby-like models to taller, more Barbie-like fashion dolls. Summer was then booted from the group, and Miranda took her place. With this came a couple more fashion games, including this fashion game that more people tend to remember over the other one. In this game, Diva Starz Fashion Emergency, girls grew over the summer as a way to joke about their new doll size. You can select different outfits and place them on each of the girls, and each one of them will let you know if they like your outfit choice or not. If I put a cute shirt on them and they said,
Super yuck.
I was super offended, my day was ruined. And you know what? Now you're forced to wear that shirt. What are you gonna do about it, Alexa? Diva Stars did not last very long on the Everything Girl website though, most likely because the dolls were canceled in 2004, quickly after their fashion doll line. But I do remember if you tried to find them again in divastars.com, it would take you straight to the Fashion Emergency game, and that was it. But it was definitely a memorable one if you ask me. I know you're all just waiting eagerly at the edge of your seat for this one. I can imagine you guys all just sitting at your screens like, my scene, my scene. When should I talk about my scene? These games were everyone's absolute favorites, and who can blame them? These fashion dolls were meant to compete with MGA's Bratz that were just taking off at the time. They were meant to reach a little bit more of an older audience, like say 6 and up range. My scene came off as these super cool teenagers that definitely had a lot more money than you and no parental supervision. Because why were these 16-year-olds partying in clubs and going to Jamaica? No one knows, but I wanted to join them too at the ripe age of 7. They really were so fun and iconic and campy. Like the previous 2 doll lines mentioned, My Scene also started off with its own website before 2004. From what I was able to find though, it doesn't look like it was too much different from the one that we know on the Everything Girl website. The My Scene website had a little navigation bar at the very top with links that were labeled My Games, where you could access all of the iconic games that we remember today. My Friends, I assume this is where you would click on each girl and read up on their personality. My Zine, where you could send e-cards to your friends and you could download wallpaper. My Shop, where I assume you could purchase the dolls. And My Shows, which was home to the super iconic webisodes. I spent so much time going through each and every one of these little webisodes as a kid, and I genuinely looked forward to seeing a new one added to the website. A new one was usually added whenever a new line was released, and the episode usually involved their really cool or funky outfits. Like my favorite one of the girls fighting over the My Bling Bling outfits and mixing and matching them. They also talked about their boyfriends and any drama they had going on in their lives. I would just sit there and debate, is my favorite girl Chelsea or Noli? I don't know. I still don't know. But the best part was when you clicked on My Games and Chelsea would appear next to this train that displayed all of the different games that they had. They had 5 iconic and memorable flash games. The first one was Dazzling Nails, where you would choose one of your favorite of the core 4, Barbie, Noli, Madison, or Chelsea, and you would paint their nails and add stickers and rings. I almost always went for the sparkly blue ones because I just wanted to be all nighttime and mysterious core. or the rainbow ones, which are the complete opposite of what I just said. It was so satisfying to click on each nail and see the little shimmer and shine. Also, while I was revisiting this game, I noticed you could print the nails out. You could just cut them out and add paper nails. Did anyone do this as a kid? I wish I had a printer right now. The next game was Room Makeover, where you could decorate a bedroom or a party pad. I will say it did bug me when I was making my selections, and I couldn't fully see what I was doing because the options were in the middle of the screen covering everything. I was like, move over so I could decorate this virtual party room for my Mycene girls to get absolutely lit in. There was Makeover Studio, where you would, again, choose which Mycene girl you wanted to give a complete makeover to. You could change her hairstyle, the color, her makeup, eyes, and jewelry. Then it would show you a before and after image, and I was always left feeling like they were way cuter before I made them an absolute mess. They also eventually updated the graphics once they updated the girls' artwork later, which is a crime and a sin, but I digress. So it is possible you may have seen this version of the game with Nia, Kennedy, and Delancey instead of my OG girlies, but this game still lives in the hearts of many. But the best one, in my opinion, was the shopping spree game. The game lets you choose between 8 different doll lines like My Bling Bling, Club Birthday, and Masquerade Madness, but I specifically loved the day and night theme. I just loved the contrast of the outfits, and the theming was just so cute with this one. All of them were 10 out of 10s though. Last but not least was the fashion designer game, which was really cute if again you had a printer. I used to sit and try to draw these myself though. My scene will always be iconic and nostalgic and a very special part of everythinggirl.com.
Hey, just the person I need to help me decorate my room.
We've made it to Polly Pocket. You probably know what I'll say by now, that yes, she did have her very own website before she was transported over to everythinggirl.com. I was playing her Polly games when I was very little. If I remember correctly, and yes, I am going off of the memory of a 5-year-old Maya since these websites no longer exist, I think that the original Polly website had these original games. There was Kooky Kitchen, where you could find things that were out of place in Polly's kitchen. Played that game multiple times just to get the elephant under the sink. The Pool Party game was like a find and search. May I also just say I really wanted Polly's Pink Streaks. Polly's Hairstyle Salon, where you would pick a hairstyle, color, and a hair clip for this big reveal, or you could click on the surprise button and get a more epic hairstyle. Let me tell you guys, it really is the little things with these games. These games kept little Maya entertained for hours, and it was so simple too. I think some of the other options on the original site were the dance game, which I don't personally remember playing, but you can typically determine which games were a bit older just based off of the graphics and just the absolutely crunchy sound. Okay, replaying this, Polly is just going the fuck off. She ate that dance. Was this one on the Everything Girl website? I realize I'm talking like it's not possible that I could have just forgotten, because that would be incredibly normal to not remember at the age of 8, but I weirdly have a really good long-term memory, and this stuff normally sticks pretty well for me. Don't ask me about yesterday though, because the short-term memory is non-existent. Okay, so I think this one, Band Buddies, was an older one too, before they upgraded to one of my favorite ones, Rockstar Makeover. Band Buddies, you don't really do anything, you just kind of watch their band play and sing. But with the Rockstar Makeover one, which was definitely on Everything Girl, you get to dress them up, choose their guitar and their stage, and then you get to watch them slay. Have I mentioned yet that Polly is supposed to be 11 years old? As a kid, I thought she was at least a teenager, but no, she's just a rich 11-year-old nepo baby that gets to casually form bands with her friends. She was just out there living my dream. Alright, and over to the games that I know were on the website. This is still about everythinggirl.com at the end of the day. Polly's Beautiful Bedroom was a super fun one. I dreamed of having having her bedroom where dolphins would swim up to my window. There was also Polly's Drive-In Style, which I personally didn't play too much. It was a little bit boring for me. I wasn't really into the car driving flash games, which I guess says a lot about me now, considering I'm a 26-year-old with a license that doesn't drive. That's just my lore for another day. I loved making Polly water all of these seeds that turned into these crazy plant creatures. Again,
Simple but effective.
Roller Coaster Hotel Hunt was probably the most fun of all. Oh my god, Polly sounds so crispy, crunchy here.
Hey, Polly pal. We're here at the Rock and Roller Coaster Hotel. I just got 5 tickets for all my friends to ride the coaster. Hey! Oh no! Can you help me find all the tickets before the coaster closes?
I love the sounds of old computer games. In this game, this white crusty dog steals all 5 of Polly's tickets, and you have to hunt them down in each one of her friends' hotel rooms. I actually appreciate that the game is timed and that they change up the location of each ticket in each room. Kids need some challenge too, okay? This Polly set itself was also such a fun and interactive one. I also always just loved seeing Polly interact with her friends more too. Do you have a favorite of Polly's friends? Because I think Lila was definitely mine. Eventually, Polly got an entire rebrand, kind of like my scene did. Actually, she had a few different rebrands, but I do remember going on everythinggirl.com and being greeted by this abomination. Okay, I guess she isn't that bad. This art style was kind of just giving a little bit more early JoJo Siwa, and I'm all for bright and colorful, don't get me wrong. I just felt like it was too much. But Polly Pocket was always such a special one for me, and the games were just an absolute core memory. Speaking of core memories, the Pixel Chix games still live in my mind. The Pixel Chix brand were like a slightly larger version of Tamagotchi, but with these little virtual girl characters instead of pets. They had their own house where you could dress them up, play games with them, and also connect them to other friends' houses, where then they would cross over and hang out with each other. It was honestly a really fun concept. I didn't get the chance to own one of these as a kid, but I did get my Pixel Chix fix through everythinggirl.com. There was the Love to Shop fashion game, your typical makeover dress-up mechanics that we have just grown to know and love through this website. This one was really cute though, and I loved all the futuristic sounding buttons. You would again pick your Pixel Chix stage setup and music, and then take these cute little pictures of her. There's Flippin' Kitchen, which I don't think I ever played before. This game may have been added a little bit later to the website. So, first time, here we go. Let's make some crunchy digital pancakes, please. I don't care about instructions, just stir it. Oh, why, wait, whoa. Flip, no, 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 oh, not my burnt crisp pancake. Oh, it's so appetizing. Oh, you get a score of negative. They didn't have to have negatives, okay?
You're stupid!
There's Pixel Says, which just looking at this one again, I remember being so bored playing this one. And yes, revisiting it, sad to say, it's just a very slow-moving and boring game. I'm sorry to anyone out there whose favorite game is this one. I'm not judging, but why? You might remember this game where your Pixel pal is a very negligent babysitter, and the baby she's watching turns into Donkey Kong. This game is also pretty cute and definitely more interactive than the last one. But what I probably spent the most time playing was the Pixel Chix Movie Maker game. I've always been a more creative person that really enjoyed storytelling as a kid. I was making those movies on the Webkinz website and full-on stories in the Sims 2 story mode, so this game was just right up my alley. Essentially, you would pick characters, their backgrounds, and you could type in anything you wanted them to say or do. It was a really cute concept overall, and I probably spent a lot of time creating an overly dramatic scenario of one of the Pixel Chicks having a crush on the dreamy jock boy, but he doesn't notice her because she's not like other girls. She's not popular, and she spends all of her time buried in her books. And then one day her friend comes over and gives her a total makeover. And then the boy finally notices her, and she's like, you know what? I don't like you anymore, because you never saw me for me. I know my true self.
My friends are my power.
Can you tell I watched way too much Disney Channel? So before we really try to deep dive into the lore of the Everything Girl website, I thought we could just give some honorable mentions to some of the games that were on this website that I never really got to play. I was either too young or too old for some of these games, but maybe these games will trigger some childhood memories for you guys. Flavas was a doll line that I never got to experience in my childhood days, but oh my god, this song is a bop.
Tell me what's your flavor? What's your flavor? Tell me what's your flavor?
The line itself was pretty short-lived, but I found this dancing game that's sadly broken. They also had a nail game too, which Mattel really just said copy and paste and turned this game into the My Scene one. Teen Trends girls seem to have their own spot on the website. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything. Let me know if there were any games or interesting activities attached to that one. My Meebas had their own games. They were a bit of a similar concept to Pixel Chix, but they had a plush toy involved. It looks like there's a Lost Dandelion Wish game that a lot of people seem to remember. I sadly couldn't find any old links to it. What's Her Face was also short-lived and had one game that I was actually able to find. It wasn't too different from the other fashion games that we looked at today, but the website was still pretty cute. Alright, and finally, I know the moment you've all been waiting for. Who is this blonde digipixie that greets us when we enter the world of everythinggirl.com? And what happened to her? Pippa the Digipixie is a digital pixie character that was created by Mattel in order to bring all of the iconic toy brands and games we love to one website. There isn't too much information that I could find on why she was chosen as the actual mascot for the website, but she definitely brought a lot of charm. So what do we know about her? When you would click on her About Pippa page, you were introduced to another side of the Everything Girl website. It was a side that brought you into her girly digital world. Pippa initially tells us that she loves to play games and hang out online, and that she is actually the one that created the website herself so that girls of all ages could hang out, express themselves, and play. So this digital pixie was able to take all of the games that these 2000s babies know and love and mash them together to create Everything Girl. So we know where the website came from, so where did Pippa come from? Is there a whole world of digital pixies somewhere out there? Is there a magical land that we don't know about like Pixie Hollow? Well, if you click on over to Pippa's Fun Zone, you'll see a few different menu options. If you head on over to Pippa's Sparkle Show, she'll tell you a little bit more about how she was created. It all started with a game theory. I mean, a dream theory. A sparkle theory. Sparkle theory is the theory that the sparks from millions of girls' imaginations collided into cyberspace to create a teeny tiny digital pixie that grew up to be Pippa, the queen herself. With this newfound love for the digital world and Everything Girl, she created Everything Girl. I'm sorry, but that is quite possibly the cutest backstory I've ever heard. Pippa changes colors depending on her mood. When she's happy, her wings flutter. When she's embarrassed, her hair turns red. She loves to surf and rock out to music. She loves Gwen Stefani, which is amazing. She loves dancing, traveling, crushing on boys like Orlando Bloom, meeting new people, and obviously hanging out on Everything Girl. Her favorite saying is "be true to you," which is very sweet. She also says that when she grows up, she wants to be a surfer, or a rock star, or a ball of electricity. The girl's got ambitions. This implies that she continues to grow up. I also assume this was added in to make her more relatable to kids, maybe make her seem a little bit more like a teenager, like Barbie or My Scene. Alright, so I'm going to try to the best of my ability to explain more about Pippa's part of the website, but just keep in mind so much of this is lost media and really difficult to find. Even the Wayback Machine couldn't find all of the tabs for me to be able to click on and explore. Everything Girl had a login system which would send you over to your own more customized version of the website. From what I remember, you could customize the website by adding in your birthday, picking a character mascot. Honestly, don't really remember that part, but I do feel like I remember choosing your own background color. My favorite color was green growing up, so I feel like I remember turning the whole background green. When you head back over to Pippa's Fun Zone, there are two other options here. You can click on the Get Your Party On link that most likely would take you over to some small flash games to play and earn points. I can't fully remember the exact games you would play, and if anybody does, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that they were the same flash games that were on the website, like the Barbie ones or My Scene, but I could be getting this confused with Digipowers, which we will get into in a second. If you earned enough points, you would unlock charms for a virtual charm bracelet. I sadly don't have any images of what this looked like, and I also don't really remember earning the charms myself. I don't fully know if you unlocked something else by earning more charms, or if this was just a cute reward system that you could eventually print out. I know that the website had some cute printable options too, but the real fun of all of this were the power pets. To the right of Pippa's fun zone, you'll see Pippa's Power Playground, and here you would spend time earning Digipowers. The first time you enter the playground, you earn 1 Digipower. You would earn 10 Digipowers for your first time watching a little advertisement, 10 powers for playing the first Digi game, and then after your first time doing all of that, you would earn 5 powers for each of those. You would also earn 20 powers for playing all of the Digi games and watching the Digi channel in 1 week. Once you have 50 Digipowers, you are rewarded with your very own Power Pet. The Power Pets started off looking like these little cube square friends, and you would need to feed them Digipowers every day. You had to keep earning Digipowers daily in order for it to grow, and eventually your Power Pet would. Your Power Pet would have different phases, kind of like Pokemon, and would eventually grow feet, and if my memory is correct, I think they also grew wings. Pippa had her own Power Pet flying around, and I feel like I recall yours being able to fly eventually too. Some even recall being able to decorate your little house or your Power Pet, which I also feel like lives in the back of my subconscious. I'm also pretty sure you could change the color of your Power Pet as well. Mine was probably green, but I do remember if you didn't visit the website often enough and earn enough points, your Power Pet would shrink back down to its little cube size. If the Power Pet mechanic on this website has any more lore, please let me know. I would love to hear more about it. That's all I could remember and could find from this part of the website, so I apologize if you were looking for any more answers. Hope I was able to spark some hidden memories for you. So what happened to Pippa and her absolutely amazing digital world that she created for so many kids to enjoy? Well, sadly, the real question is, what happened to most Flash games? The last known link that I could find to the website on the Wayback Machine was from 2014, although the Pixel Chix wiki claims that the website was closed in 2015, but by then mobile games had absolutely taken over. No one was really playing games online like that anymore. Adobe Flash itself shut down in 2020. Most of what we can find now are preserved through the Wayback Machine, and you can find some of the other games mentioned in this video on a website that I will link below. Everything Girl was such a fun and magical world to escape to for so many growing up, and I am genuinely thankful that I got to have the time that I did with it. Whatever you were wanting to play that day after school, whether it be dressing up your My Scene girls for a night out, grooming virtual pets, or burning pixelated foods, Everything Girl had everything to offer. This may sound extra cheesy, but thank you, Pippa, for creating a magical website for so many kids to play, and thank every early 2000s girly out there for creating you. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember, if you want your dose of 2000s nostalgia, please consider subscribing so you don't miss reliving more of those core memories stuck in the back of your subconscious. And if you want more videos like this, please comment down below and let me know, and please leave a like as well. It helps me to keep the channel going and create magical, nostalgic content for you all, and I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Bye!